welcome to my channel. My name is Karen and today I will be reviewing Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. So this is a book that I had incredibly high expectations for. Everyone seems to love it and I did not love it. So Fallen Kingdoms tells the story of 4 different people who live in 3 different lands. One of them is called Magnus with his sister Lucia. Then you have another one called Cleo, who's a princess, and then you have another one called Jonas, who's a rebel. There's this magic in the land and their lives come together for reasons, and that's pretty much it. This book is not good. I actually debated whether or not to make this review because I never want to be like harsh and mean in any of my book reviews, but I just have a lot of feelings about this one and I want to talk about it. Every booktuber's review that I've come across has talked about how amazing it is, and I just didn't feel like it was amazing. So if you read the book and you don't feel like you liked it or enjoyed it, then you're not alone, because I didn't like it either. So my biggest problem with this book was that I felt like it lacked originality in just every single aspect of it. I also read this book right after I read Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, and that is a high fantasy novel that's incredibly, just incredibly well done, because the magic system is so incredibly unique. And I felt like maybe if I hadn't read Mistborn directly before I read this one, I would have enjoyed this one a little bit more. But this is high fantasy, so I was expecting to have a little bit more magic and a little bit more well done magic. It just felt like things just happened because they happened. And the Elementia, which is a magic system in this book, was incredibly generic. I mean, you get from water, you get from fire, air, earth. Like, really, everybody does that. It's just such a common magical system, and I that's fine. You can't expect everyone to come up with like another Hogwarts or another Brandon Sanderson magical system. Like, not everybody does that. That's fine, but I think that you need to have things to kind of balance the fact that your magic system is not exactly original. And I just didn't feel a connection to any of the characters. I felt like all of the characters were, again, really lacking in originality. Cleo was like Sansa Stark meets Bella Swan meets Arya Stark at the end of season 1 of Game of Thrones. Jonas was every rebel in every single book ever. Magnus was Draco Malfoy / Jaime Lannister, and Lucia was Morgana Pendragon. I didn't feel like the writing was really mature, even though I know it's a young adult book and it's a young adult fantasy. So yeah, I didn't enjoy that at all. I felt like Cleo was one of the characters that I like the most, but I can already tell that she's going to be the one that is going to be revolving around some sort of love triangle all the time, and that her storyline is always directly going to be intertwined with a man. And it's just, I don't know, like I didn't feel like any of the characters were really strong. This book does have something that really annoyed me and made me uncomfortable, which was incest. I don't enjoy reading about incest, but if it's necessary in a book, like for example in Game of Thrones, I feel like Jaime, Cersei, that relationship, that incestual relationship brings something, and it fits with their characters, and it's also reciprocated in this one. Magnus, who is the prince of one of the lands, he falls in love with his younger sister. He's like 18, I believe, and she's 16. So it just made me really uncomfortable because she is essentially a child and she doesn't really reciprocate his feelings. So it just made me feel weird, and it was creepy, the fact that every time that she went to him as a brother, he would be like thinking all these things, and it made me uncomfortable, and I felt like it was extremely unnecessary. I think that she just added it in to like shock maybe, or to like show that Magnus was like a disturbed individual. But I would have been more interested in him trying to save and protect his sister just because of sibling love. Sibling love is actually really important. I felt like that incestual relationship was really weird and I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. Jonas was a character that I liked the most in the book, and every time I felt like he was going to do something exciting, it got resolved, you know, just off the page, and you didn't know how, and it was just crazy. There was a scene where he's like, oh, I need to find this person that nobody has seen in like a bunch of years, and it's probably going to be really hard to find them. And then like a couple pages later, oh, there he is having a meeting with this guy, because apparently it's really easy to find him. Lucia, I thought that she had great potential, like all the characters. I thought all the characters had great potential, but nothing really happened with her. You know, her powers just like came out of nowhere, and apparently she was studying her powers, but you didn't really read about that. So I felt like it was like a miss every single time. There were a lot of death in this book, and again, death about, you know, from people that I didn't care about. However, decided to put in the cover that this was like Game of Thrones. This is not like Game of Thrones at all. Maybe it gets better. I'm really kind of sad that I didn't enjoy this book, because the covers are gorgeous and beautiful, and it just I felt like it had a lot of potential and just was not used. I gave this book 1 star. If you want to pick it up, pick it up. It is high fantasy, supposedly. It did not do anything for me. I did not enjoy it. Thank you very much if you have watched this video. Lovely day, and bye bye.